I mean, it was only a matter of time, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Well, hang on. Who am I kidding? Gentlemen and mom, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today you join myself and this Chevy square body tow truck in the front yard. I don't know anything about this. I don't know what we're gonna do with it. All I know is that this right here was $2,500 on Facebook Marketplace, and we're gonna see if we can make it look nice and work good in a weekend. This popped up on Marketplace for $2,500, and it's kind of hard to say no to what appears to be a pretty solid square body with an operable tow truck attached to the back half of it. Also, as mentioned, I don't know a damn thing about this. I just bought it from the kid 2 hours ago. I know it does need a little work. He said it's down on power in third and like only does 50 or something. I'm not quite sure. It said something about intake gasket leaks, but the only thing I do know for sure is that it actually runs. And, oh, okay, well, the tack doesn't work. We've got a voltage gauge that works, an oil pressure gauge that works, 60 PSI here. Indicates 59,000 miles. He said they put a new motor in when it said 15 at one point. The horn does not work. Ooh, wow. Oh, and I suppose I have no idea if the dream catcher works. This thing's pretty decent inside, really. It's like the seat's nice. The dash really isn't that bad. It needs cleaned up really bad, but for $2,500 with a supposedly operable tow truck bed, yeah, I'll take that. Well, I suppose step one, let's get this off the trailer and go drive it around and see if we can figure out what that lack of power / intake leak problem is. I mean, so far as you saw, it runs pretty good. I'm a little concerned about what it might be hiding. This thing has a hydraulic parking brake, which I've never seen before. It's this whole contraption here. There's creaking noises. Yeah. Something tells me they're hanging a little bit right now. Someone's already put inner and outer fenders on this, I bet. No wonder his cab is so good. It's potentially new metal. Doors do feel a little thin. So we just push the clutch in and hope for the best. There we go. This is going too easy. Either there's going to be no episode here, or something's going to happen that'll be so bad that it'll all make sense in the end. You can feel the pedal wiggling back and forth on its own as if the cab mounts or something are goofy. Going straight for the road, eh? I have no idea how much gas is in it, but we'll figure that out, I'm sure. What could go wrong? Just gonna ignore all those noises. We better make sure we got like headlights or something first.
Yeah, there's one marker.
Oh, running lights.
And headlights. Hell yeah.
What are the odds we also have tails? Ho-ho!
We have LED tails.
Hell yeah. Alright, you know what? I have no idea how much... Oh shit, never mind, I do. The fuel gauge started working. We supposedly have 3/4 tank. I say we go for a little test drive. Maybe take it over to Tom, see what he thinks of the old girl. If we run out of gas, you can just call a tow truck. Oh, wait. Oh, come on, girl. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. High gear. Going for third. Okay, this is the gear he said at third. It would start slowing down and losing power. It feels fine, it just doesn't have a lot of power. I grabbed third way too early. The alignment is a touch off. She's got a pretty good vibration, like a hellacious drive shaft vibration. Oh God, the heat works, I can smell it. We're doing 45. The pedals are still all over the place. I don't know what that's about. He said it needed cab mounts. Despite all that, $2,500 for a tow truck? Oh yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a work unit right here. This is gonna be good. Oh, I got a pretty big wheel vibration in the front now. I don't know how well you can see. It's getting much worse really fast. Am I losing a tire? Good God, it's coming apart. Ah! I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Holy shit. I must have broke a band in a tire or something. It's getting worse. The whole truck is hopping now. I am borderline airborne. This might be a one-way trip to Tom's. Holy shit. Something on this front left is not happy. All right, let me get us off the road.
Alright, what's going on? Who's angry? Not loose. Got all the bolts. This looks fine. This one's also bolted on all the way. What in the hell?
We got a broken band. I don't feel one.
I don't see anything.
This is single-handedly the worst vibration I've ever experienced, and I was completely expecting to see 4 inches of a tire sticking out where we broke a band because it slowly got worse, but there's nothing. We're still a couple miles from Tom's, so let's see if I can get it there at least. It's seemingly better now. That makes no sense. But what is happening? I'm going to go ahead and say we should put brake hoses on the list because I bet they're a little swollen and not letting fluid back. Oh, it started doing it. It's doing the thing where it's losing power. I'm at 190, I got good oil pressure. Oh, not 190, I'm at like 160. Oh. I smell brakes. I think I see smoke coming off a tire too. I feel like our brake is locked up front. That would feel like a loss of power. I can see where someone could get confused about that. Oh yeah, there's a giant cloud of smoke behind us. Oh shit. Come on, girl, up the hill, up the hill. That's what the bouncing was. It was sticking a pad. Oh, hello. Yeah, definitely putting brake hoses on the list. No question now. Oh, I did not take the right road. Oh, son of a bitch. All right, well, no need to put the parking brake on to make sure we're not on fire. So this explains the surging and the loss of powers. There's a spot on that road.
Oh yeah, she's smoking.
There's a spot on that rotor that would catch each time around because of a warp in it, most likely. As it was going down the highway, it started to catch more and more and more. It get hotter and hotter, and the brake fluid started expanding, and the metal started expanding, and then that, of course, escalated quickly in an exponential manner where suddenly the more it touches, the hotter it gets, the more it touches, and away we go off to the races. I suppose I'll let that cool for a sec. I don't have any water with me. If I did, I could pour it on it to help shock that caliper open again, but we'll have to put new hoses on before it leaves Tom's. If I can get there. I did not take the right road. This is a dead end. Shit, I just added like a mile to this trip that was completely unnecessary. It's still smoking. Gotta get there regardless. Here we go. Oh, okay. I don't know what just happened, but all of a sudden it went click and we just took off. Apparently that brake caliper finally got hot enough to just dink and fall back into place. So that I blew a line. Very possible. I do smell a lot of brakes still. You know what? We'll drive like we never had them to start with. You've seen us talk about this before, but what happens is that rubber hose between the hard line on the frame and the caliper swells internally until it's clogged like an artery. And when you apply brake pressure, 1000 psi goes towards the caliper through that clogged line just fine. But the natural 1 psi of the return of that caliper cannot go back. It acts as a one-way valve and builds up pressure inside that caliper. This thing runs great. It was just brakes. Oh. I had to say it, didn't I? It's acting like I'm running out of gas. It was literally right after I said it runs great. What the hell is that? Oh, good. Now the gas gauge just did a circle. It's no longer running great. It's not even running good. Somehow it's running, unlike 2. This, wow. Remember like 20 minutes ago and I said this is gonna be too easy for a video. Yeah, this is what happens when I say that. We get a content-heavy video established pretty much immediately. This is definitely the loses power in third. Well, now it's back to normal. And now it works again. This is going to be really fun to diagnose. Repo guy is here.
Trespassing. Where'd you get this?
Over by Iowa City.
No shit. About the only tow truck experience I have is with a sling. I've never run a wheel lift in my life.
Good. I was hoping you would know because I don't.
I don't know if I remember.
It looks like it might be on fire, honestly. I don't.
Fire? That's cool. Oh, it's got a little motor in it. I figured it'd be a big block.
That must just be oil on the header.
Does it still have functional air pump crap on it?
Everything minus the air pump. You think?
We can wreck some shit with this. We can damage things. It'll be cool.
Tom's starting a tow truck company. Tom's Towing.
Tom's Towing.
Tom's Tows. Oh, that's even worse.
I can see the sign now.
Let me show you my toes sometime.
You don't think that's original metal on anything? I didn't see a VIN tag or anything.
No, I doubt it. I think I can see the seam. Yeah, there's the cab corner seam right there. These things rusted out on the dealer lot.
Oh yeah, look at the weld.
Yeah. There's a seam down there too.
Jesus, the things I overlook.
It really does have a major
Oh, God.
motor mount.
Yeah, maybe it really does need
Body
cab
mount.
mounts.
Tom's tippy toes.
Just that.
Yes.
Well, get the stencils out. We haven't even tested the hydraulics.
Might be back timing off just a little
Plenty
bit.
of timing. It's not a distributor issue. Oh, that works. Hey. Holy shit. That just break
I
off.
broke your truck.
Need a little.
They had that just sitting there.
Where's the rest of it?
That's not even a fresh brake.
There's a bearing in this, right? We can just weld this to that.
You probably could. What the hell? You got enough.
Yeah, there's.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not like it lifts heavy loads or anything.
Exactly.
He says something about you pull this and then this does that other thing. Oh,
Oh, that sounded good.
it works. It was that. It did that.
We'll learn.
I think we've established where to start. Everywhere. Well, it's been a beer. I'm headed back home from Tom's now. As you can probably hear, she's pretty much permanently on 4 cylinders or whatever this is. I don't know what it is now, but it's consistently like that, so it should make it easier to fix tomorrow. We'll see you guys then. Good morning, everyone. Picking up pretty much right where we left off, except for this time the sun is out. I'm headed to town in the tow truck, hoping to get this to the shop, figure out why we're missing half a motor. But first I have to make it up this hill. I feel like Angus in the Impala right now. So as you may be able to hear, the brakes in the front left are squeaking really bad. We're trying to head to the car wash right now before we go to the shop and start working on this. And the brake pedal just went to the floor. Was dying on your list of things to do today?
No, but I had room in the evening.
Oh, good. Maybe this will help it run better. It definitely won't fix the brake being completely out of fluid, but... Oh, totally rebuilt motor. I'm sure this will fire up just fine after this. All right, what are the odds? 3. 3? Pretty high odds. Okay, all right. Distributor stayed dry. Actually, it runs better now. All aboard. I can't stop. Oh, shit.
The brakes are fixed.
The rear started working. The car wash was magical.
Didn't fix the doors.
No, it did not. The hood's much more wider now. At least we'll look good when we break down. Slowly and surely back to the shop to start working on everything, because by now it's all broken. It might not be too heavy for the lift. It's definitely not, but way too awkward to try to pick up with a 2-post. Looks like we're working on the floor today. Okay, so to make life easy here, figure out what cylinders are live and which ones aren't. I'm going to cheat a little bit and use our FLIR thermal camera. That looks to me as if number 1 is alive. The center 2 on this side are dead, and the rear one is alive. So there's 2 cylinders. That's just 1 cylinder. So we're running on 3 cylinders. The fact we suddenly went from what felt like 7, 8 to 3 in the flick of a switch, and the fact that they keep coming back for a split second here and there makes me really think that this is an ignition issue. It does kind of act carburetor too, but I'm thinking pull the cap and rotor off and it'll be super dirty inside.
Only me, I didn't buy this piece of junk.
Fair. Alright, time to start turning wrenches. Got the cap loose. Let's see what we're looking at here. I see some buildup on the points there, and it's got moisture inside, which is likely from me washing it. Let's see if I can get that cleaned up and try that. I pulled the rotor off to compare it to a different one. I've seen Dalton had a video or an instance recently where this got worn down really bad, and yeah, maybe a touch, but really not worn enough that I would think it would cause a problem. While I was in here though, I realized, oh yeah, I think I know exactly what's wrong. I think we have a bad HEI module in this thing. Those go bad, they throw the dwell way off and it'll lose cylinders and stuff. And it would make sense that that, being electrical, would come on and off as this was, because as I was driving this around, occasionally off idle, it brum, all 8 for a split second, and brum, back to 3. I think I'm going to throw a new ignition module in this, and then of course clean all the cap points and everything while I'm there, and then we'll see if that fixes it. I have a strong feeling that it might. Give it. There we go. It worked on the Le Mans motor when it was on there, so this should be at least enough to diagnose what we got going on. It'll probably work for a while, honestly. Cap's all clean, new HEI modules in. Let's see if it runs any better. At this point, I'm going to start looking at firing order. I don't even know how you would keep it in check when you're running it below the motor. Well, I didn't love how the plug wires were routed right up against the exhaust, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I couldn't follow them all the way back, so figured while I'm in there, pop this guy back off and get a new coil in there, or a different coil in there, so one less thing to worry about later. Make sure our carbon stick out's good. Yep, looks great. Maybe clean this up a little more while it's out and put it all back together. All right, not an ignition issue. Does seem like it's a vacuum leak. Let's see if we can find it. First of all, it's that fuel detector makes a difference. Big time. Big time. That was bad. That's fine. Small difference there. Nothing there. We have ourselves a vacuum leak on the carburetor. Let's see if we can find it. Alright, to make life easier, I've hooked up the smoke leak detector. You can buy these on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. They're pretty awesome because they allow you to see all the problems you're having. Case in point, I would have never known that right there was a vacuum leak. Figure out how to seal that carburetor up more, and then I can force that down into the intake and see if it comes out anywhere. Honestly, it's been a couple minutes. I am seeing nothing. We've got that one there, a little bit out of the throttle shafts, but I don't see even a base gasket leak. Starting to wonder if our carburetor's all dirty or this thing is just tuned really bad. It's been a few minutes. I've had a slight revelation. I was thinking about what vacuum leaks could suddenly occur, and it suddenly dawned on me that the PCV could suddenly get stuck open and be a huge vacuum leak. So I capped that off. I capped off the other vacuum leak we knew we had. And it runs a lot better, but it's still not revving up and running on 8 cylinders. I decided, okay, fine, I'll do the proverbial compression test, and this is what we got. We've got 160 PSI, or 145, which is plenty for this thing to run. That cylinder's healthy. There's something goofy going on with this motor. You know what I should do? I should put a vacuum gauge on it and see if the needle jumps all over, see if we have valve issues. We don't. No, we have compression. What is your thing? Okay, this just keeps getting weirder. So to do that compression test I just showed, I unplugged the 12 volt to the HEI. Once I was done there, I plugged it back in and fired it up one more time to just see what the hell. It might not do it again right now, but for a second there, it ran perfect again. Yep, it's perfect.
Starting to wonder if we had a voltage issue to that HEI coil. It would make sense.
That's all 8 cylinders, or as close as we're gonna get to it. I mean, it still definitely needs a tune-up. The initial timing needs set, go through the carb, get all that balanced out, but it's running like it was at the beginning of yesterday. I'm guessing HEI coil, the 12 volt lead to the coil was maybe goofy. That's the only thing I changed. Hopefully that doesn't ever just pop back up. I literally have no idea what that was.
I did throw a vacuum gauge on it, and it's a perfect 20 inches of mercury, so there's no intake leaks at all. It was an issue somewhere.
That's what we want to hear. By the way, this is probably a good time to mention this. PCV valves, this guy, positive crankcase ventilation valve. These are a consumable. These are supposed to be changed every 5 oil changes or whatever you want to change them. But if you got a car that's not idling down or suddenly it's idling up, although everything else seems to be just fine, go check this, make sure it's not gummed up, or throw a new one in there. And a lot of guys like to just delete those, but no, they're good to run. What they do is they put vacuum into the crankcase, and they help burn escaping gases. They help with like pollution and emissions and shit like that. But more importantly, that vacuum down in the crankcase helps the piston rings seal better and helps the engine last longer and run a little better. All right, I'm gonna go hit the key again. If it runs fine now, I guess it's fixed. Runs perfect. What'd you do? Nothing. Good. I replaced the coil, the HEI, rotor, redid the plug wires, rerouted them, capped off a vacuum leak, did a compression test. Compression test came out perfect. Put the spark plug back in, and then plugged the 12 volt back into the HEI coil, and it ran perfect. Which I've unplugged and replugged that 12 volt like 4 times, so I don't know why that one did it.
You did just the correct cheat code
Yeah.
of unplugging and moving and replugging stuff in.
Left,
That had
right,
to have
left.
been it.
Yeah, so that part's fixed. I guess I'll go to town and get some parts for brakes. Any luck finding a house?
Oh yeah, there's tons of them. They're everywhere. They just park them on every block.
All right, let's go find some brake components.
All right, sponsor time. If you can't tell, I'm really congested today. I feel like crap. I'm not gonna be able to hype the excitement that I usually do for these sponsor segments, so I'm just gonna give you guys a no BS ad read right now. This is real thoughts from me about this product. I absolutely love them. You've heard of them before. They are Raycon and they're everyday earbuds. Now I could go over this whole pile of talking points that they've said along with these Raycons, but from one car guy to another, I know the points you guys want to hear is the technical features and do's-its and what's abouts of these that make them so excellent. The earbud case itself is smaller than a fob for an F-150. On the front, we've got a charging indicator. As you can see, apparently mine are dead. I've been using the heck out of them, so that makes sense. They have these comfort gel insert tips that fit excellently into your ear, and they never ever fall out. Usually this is the part where I shake my head a whole bunch and show you that, but by splitting headache is saying that's not a great idea. As mentioned, once placed in the case, they are charging, and as long as that lid is open and they are out of the case, they are on and seamlessly connected to my phone. On the side of each earbud, there is a button that controls functions on your phone, such as play, pause, answer, reject calls, as well as the ability to switch between sound profiles, pure, balanced, and bass, and the ability to switch between noise, isolation, and awareness mode, which are just that. These little buggers have a hell of a Bluetooth range. We're talking up to 33 feet away without any drop in sound quality or connectivity. 32 hours of battery life on the case, and 8-hour battery life in the earbuds themselves. These things are tough, durable, water resistant. Throw them through the washer, drop them in a puddle. They're gonna be fine. Roll around with them in your pocket, underneath the car. They're gonna be fine. I still use the same very outdated set that I got 5 years ago. They work just as good today as they did on day one. On top of all of this, one of the best things is these come at half the price of other brands with 0 drop in quality. If you guys wanna try a pair for yourself, click the link in the description below or go to buyraycon.com/JYD for 15% off. Once again, these rock. buyraycon.com/JYD for 15% off. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, well, now that our engine is fixed and it's running on all cylinders again for some reason, I guess we move on to brakes. Okay, so apparently these haven't been off since Reagan was in office. This might be a little harder than I was anticipating. Oh, Jesus. Well, I suppose they were never falling off. That's good. So it's not apparent. That's why we're going after this one. Well, both fronts need the brakes redone. This looks like it'll just fly right off. Has it even moved? No? Okay. We're gonna be here a while. Yeah, I don't think I need to say it. I think you can tell that things have escalated rather quickly. Here goes nothing. This is like the chicken and the egg, but different. What breaks first, the chain or the links? Or the jack? I don't know, either way my face probably loses. Oh my God. That's like a solid piece of steel right now. There's... I guess I could listen. And if that tone goes down, I know it's moving, right? Oh. Hey, that actually worked! Holy shit. Okay, put that one in the book. This is a possible solution. Or, I mean, yeah, that worked exactly like I thought it would. I knew from the start. Cool. I guess if you can't get a rim off, head down to Menards and get a little bottle jack and one of those guys in the middle and a couple hooks. The guy in the middle helps you safely land that on the chain without it getting all floppy and jumping off on you. We just knock him loose. This is actually very similar to the F100 brakes of the era. Once you get this bolt out, you're going to take a hammer and tap this plate that way. This is called a wedge style caliper. There she goes. Get your punch in there, help things out. There we go. As you can see, that wedge, very rusty. This will also prevent the caliper from moving easily if all of these components in here are rusted as such. So we're going to have to clean these up and get them all anti-seized when we go back together. Once that is out of the way, you should be able to easily lift this guy right on out. I said should, not will, should be able to. There we go. Let's see how bad the pads are. Oh my God. How did this ever have brakes? Look at that. What? Just this little shiny spot right here was touching. And a little over here. This is a 1/16 deep. That is ridiculous. This side actually still has pad. A lot of pad. So this shows that this has been stuck for a very long time. What was happening actually is that instead of the whole caliper moving on these slides and pushing this one against it like this was stuck right here and it never ever moved. And meanwhile this one was being pushed by the piston and it was just using one side. And you can see there was a lot of heat in there from it dragging. It actually like probably exploded off from heat. Aha, yes, and as I thought, that squeaky noise, as you can see this shiny spot right here, this is the screamer, the squealer, the scraper, whatever you want to call it. This is designed that when that pad wears down below this height, this piece of metal comes in contact with the rotor and makes that terrible screeching noise that alerts you, hey, you need pads, like 5,000 miles ago. All right, let's see what it takes to get this off. Well, as it turns out, there's a hole right here through this hub in which you can get onto that cap. Hey, there we go. And the grease looks pretty okay, all things considered. There's the nut. Now the washer. The bearing. Whoops. This thing must have been serviced a long, long time ago and then not used much at all. To still have grease this clean, but have a wheel that stuck. Okay, that's all it takes, folks. Now, it's just normal brake stuff. Throw the rotor on the lathe, replace the caliper and hose, we'll be good to go. Let's get it done. Little warped. Just a touch. I've taken off a lot already, and they're still not even touched. The steel, rust. This is going to take me an hour. A bunch of heat and years of abuse will do that, I suppose. The funny part is, as it rotates around, you can watch this band right here get fatter and narrower, which means it's not the machine. It's been warped and worn like that since 1985. All right. If you guys own a shop and want the best brake lathe you can buy, that one right there is the one to get. And the same goes for their lifts and all the other stuff Benpack makes. I've never interacted with a product from them that wasn't literally the best version I've found of that item. Check them out, benpack.com. All right, let's finish these rotors. Look at the difference here. Look at the meat on this one, and look at the holy shit. These things are thick. I guess that's what happens when you get up into that heavy-duty range of stuff. Quite the difference between that new one and that old one. Okay, so step one, I did this prior, but you're gonna wanna go through and clean up all these surfaces with a wire wheel. Make sure that down where the pad sits, all these slides, all that doesn't have rust anymore. And then get your handy dandy anti-seize. Go ahead and smear some of that on all of those surfaces. You do, however, want to be careful not to get it on the rotor, obviously. Before you put your inner pad on, you want to take this guy, your anti-rattle clip, and snap him on, I believe, let me look, let me give this a Google. Ah, yes. There we go. Put him right in the middle, facing just like that. This is a little clip that keeps this from rattling around, keeps it taut. Drop him into the casting back here. Our outer pad will sit in the caliper like so. Oh, classic scenario has happened again. They put paint on this and on these, and now the tolerances are too tight. I've seen this a number of times where I have to grind paint off pads or lightly taper it in with a piece of wood. That looks to be the answer today. Now with that done, I can realize that I have the wrong caliper. Son of a bitch. This needs to be on the top up here, like this, so that all the air can rise to the top and then get out of the bleeder. Thank you, sir. There we go. Bleeder on top. Now I can simply start with the top, set that there, roll the bottom in, grab these two pieces of hardware, and then take this spring, put them just like that, and slide this whole thing in there. Which can be a bit of a challenge, but it's going in pretty easy. Find your new piece of hold down hardware and screw him in. And just like that, we have a new caliper, front brake pads, and turn rotor. Next big challenge, getting this rubber hose off and getting him replaced. One corner done. All right, been a few minutes. This side went a lot smoother than the other side. Now we gotta put our pin in here and we're done with this. Meanwhile, Angus is working on removing a body mount bolt. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's no bottom plate, and we can just do this with the body. So if we get some bottom plates or some washers on there, that should remove the tippy part of the tippy toe. No giant washers or pieces of steel, but I did find an old grinding wheel that's all worn out and a little washer. That's about right. Huh?
Yeah.
I pulled the truck down through the frame. Oh, dude. Yeah, so much better. Straight to Barrett Jackson. The second Angus sat in the seat, the grinding disc broke in half. It teetered. It just went, because there's no cab mount, it's all rusted out. It just went whack.
I knew I shouldn't have had that second cup of coffee today.
Well, before we went any farther, we decided to fire it up and make sure it still ran okay. Oh, we just picked up this one. That one wasn't on a second ago. We got 3 over here now. It started doing the bullshit again, so I still don't know what's going on. It's more than 3, but it's still not 8. Huh, that's weird. It loves fuel in the secondary. Should have had intake leaks, right? Yeah, I did. If I sprayed just the intake very precisely, it should change. Don't change. Don't change. Right in here. Timing light broke, so I can't check that, but I think we just straight up have issues with the Edelbrock. I've seen them sit, the Edelbrock specifically sit, and then they have issues with like idle fuel for some reason, even though they seem to be fine inside. What we got on the shelf? Okay, I scavenged around in the back of the shop and found this Quadrajet. I think it's from that car. I don't think that car ever ran right with or without it, so it might still be good. It is a Quadrajet. They seem to always work. Unfortunately, I don't have any brand new carbs to test if what we're experiencing really is a carburetor issue. What this might do is mislead us into thinking it's something else when we're putting another bad carburetor on. As you can tell, we've got the adapter gone. So let's go ahead and bolt this sucker down, and should be a lot better off on paper. Appropriate carb, appropriate gasket, appropriate everything. All right, we got it all bolted down, new fuel filter in place, new piece of fuel line there. Let's see if this thing's any good. Go ahead, Angus. We gotta crank it and fill it up first. There's a big vacuum leak. Dude. Hell yeah. Set it off. I got a vacuum leak right there. I got to plug quick. I missed one. Leave it to the all original, well, actually I think it's been remanned once, but the carburetor that sat in a barn for like 40 years to fire up and run perfect on this engine. I will admit, I think I'm coming around to Quadrajets. They're perfect for this. Something that sits for a long time. You walk out and turn the key and they run the same every time. Not nearly as easily tunable, I should say, but they're really good at being dependable. Hit it. Fixed. It was definitely that Edelbrock all along. I've seen this before. For some reason, when Edelbrocks sit, something in the idle circuit gets goofy. They get a bunch of air leaks, lack of fuel like that one was doing. Like, the mix screws for the idle were turned all the way out on that thing. It was still barely running. Now this, butter.
That's what we're looking for.
The difficult stuff is finally done. We can now move on to luxurious extra options to make this just that much more useful and better. First thing that's bothering me, this is an old square body tow truck and it sounds like a tractor. I don't really love that. I mean, every old square body tow truck I feel like in my mind should have some nice crackly loud exhaust coming out each side, and I think we can make that happen. Alright, let's head to O'Reilly's, get some pipes and mufflers. Okay, I've been to town and back, and it is time to get dirty. Or, well, dirtier. We're going for something really simple here. I just want to come off the headers, hit a muffler, do a 45 and exit somewhere around here with a nice angle cut. Went down to the muffler shop, grabbed some 4-foot chunks of 2 1/4. Got some hangers, got some 45s, some tips if I need to do that instead, and some thrush mufflers. Vintage sound, today's power. Another excellent episode with Kevin welding. I've never been good, but I'm not often better than that, so I'll call that a win. All right, passenger side is all welded up. Let's see how she fits here. Hell yeah. Frickin' nailed it. A hanger right here, and we'll be set. Let's do it. All right, it has been a little bit. If you can't tell, I'm very dirty. I've finished the exhaust. As you can see, we've got the classic 45-degree exit. Our thrush mufflers are in place. Everything is held up with supports. It looks great, but looks mean very little when it comes to exhaust. Let's see how it sounds. Oh yeah. Yep, that sounds incredible. Now, as you may have been able to hear, there is a bit of an exhaust leak up on one of the headers. The donut is good, the flange is good, and the actual header piece itself is rusted off. If you look right there, you can see a gap where the header has rusted away from the donut and the flange. So to fix that for the second time in my life, I'm going to use red RTV. I mean, come on, is it even a Chevy if there's no red RTV on it? Except I'm going to be using it correctly on the exhaust, the only place it should ever be found. Alright, that looks good enough to me. I'm sure that either will or will not work. As far as I'm concerned, everything up here in the engine bay and on the front of the truck is done. Exhaust looks great, thing runs right now, brakes work. Let's start working on some other stuff, such as these guys, and the fact that they don't do anything. Let's throw some power into this wire here. Nothing. I had to guess that bulb's probably either corroded or bad. Well, I would have liked to keep these. They looked a lot cooler than LEDs, but all the springs in this one fell out into tiny little pieces. The bulb ended up breaking. That one's bad. These ones down here are bad, and as you can see, they're not just a bulb I can run down to the store and get. Not only because that one's a really weird size, but because they have screw terminals on the back. Ran down to Menards, got ourselves some new LED floodlights. Gonna get those wired up, and we'll see how she looks. Wow, someone took the Junkyard Digs Le Mans approach of putting this floor in. Those are just self-tappers all the way up. There is one advantage to a rusty floor. It makes running wires really easy. Let's see here. In you go. Easy peasy. Here's a fun tip. Before you install any butt connectors, always look inside to make sure they're good. Oh, what is this? This one's got something in its butt. Besides that, we're going good. I got power up under the dash here, about to connect that, and this one should work. Then just tie everything else in. Okay, it's been a bit. I've got all the lights done, minus these, the high tails, so that if you're pulling a car, you can see over it and still see tail lights. Those had some blown bulbs. Gotta go pick some of those up in the morning, but besides that, everything is good to go. I have repaired the dome light, with the exception of this wire and 2 grounds that are hanging down there. Everything underneath the dash is fixed up. All the wiring there is good. Someone had that panel off, so I gotta get new screws for that. I can hook those grounds back up. Our tack should work once I get that ground attached. Our headlights work, our dome lights still work. Our tails and markers all work. If we come in here, clearly our rotaries still, actually, the rotaries have a bulb out, shit. Moving over one to flood. We got tons of LED power for the rear. I was going to replace these low ones too, but as I started thinking about it, those are just going to get immediately destroyed with rocks from gravel. And these specifically have a big rubber back that's like this thick to keep that from happening, so I will have to find bulbs for those somehow. And then as an added bonus, hooked up a little something to the front here for a little extra luminosity. Very nice. So with all that done, I think I'm going to vacuum out the interior and de-germ the dash and door panels, and we'll be done for the night. Waiting on a couple bulbs in the morning, weld that rear piece on the winch, and this sumbitch is ready to go. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Last night I gave the truck a quick de-germ bath to get some oxidization off the cab. And then this morning I finished up putting some new bulbs in and got our rear upper lights working in entirety. We got brakes and blinkers and running lights up here now. The last step is to slap a sticker of immortality on. This makes any car run flawless for a minimum of 10,000 miles before the sticker needs changed out like a nicotine patch. If you guys want to get one of those for yourself, you can head to junkyarddigs.com, check out all of our merch, get a shirt, get a swag pack, get a hat, get some youth size shirts, which we now have available for the young ones watching. Bug your mom and dad enough, they might just get you one. And on top of all that, I'm proud to announce we have a new item. We have a new koozie, and it's not like the old koozies. It's not a custom or a Scottsdale or even an XLT. This thing is the Lariat, the King Ranch. We're talking the Brome, the Regency. This is the premium deluxe Junkyard Digs koozie. It has a lot better foam, a nice stitching down the side, and it's gonna last a lot longer than our old ones. So if you guys wanna check those out, head to junkyarddigs.com. For now, I'm gonna hop in this, we're gonna go fill it up with gas, and drive it back out to Tom's, see if we can weld up that broken cast iron, and we should have ourselves a working tow truck. Right until that one line I haven't replaced blows. Then we'll have ourselves, well, a truck. As you can see, the interior now, very nice, very clean. Let's see how she does in cold starts. Right to it. The choke's not even on. All right, on the road. Okay, right off the bat, this thing is much more well-mannered and way easier to drive. The door still squeaks though, that's annoying. All right, let's get some fuel in it, because our gas gauge just went to infinite. I don't trust that at all. Yeah, I'm gonna say that gas gauge was way off. 13.5 gallons, oh, that was close. We can actually start off in first or second now. Definitely need to get a heavier throttle return spring on. I can hear it hanging open a little bit. Other than that though, this is an entirely new truck. This actually drives on 8 cylinders. It makes power. It sounds way better. It's way cleaner. And there's the brake light. Yep, I wondered if there was air in those rears. Damn it. Whatever, put that on the list to fix another day. All right, highway speeds for the first time. The door's still really annoying. Still a high frequency vibration from the drive shaft, the clutch or something. But it's better though, it's a lot quieter. Those 411s, 55 mile an hour, 2200 RPM. Yeah, that's about all the faster we're ever gonna go. Couple more miles left to go. Looking good. All right, and here we go. Oh yeah, those are good quadrijet noises right there. Alrighty, here we are. Let's go see if the Magic Man can fix up our spindle spool thingy and see if we can have ourselves an operable tow truck. First things first, what's smoking? Doesn't smell like brakes this time. It's coming from a valve cover leak onto the exhaust manifold. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Look how wet that is down there. I think it goes without saying that a tow truck this old is going to be a continual, constant process of repair as things break and get fixed, and then new things break and those get fixed, so on and so forth. We'll probably always be wrenching on this in the background of a video somewhere. Hindsight being what it is, I probably could have just brought this instead of the whole tow truck.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, it's heavy, I don't want to carry it.
Does it slide out?
I think there's a pin on the inside, but if we stick the boom out, it will. Hold it on with.
Oh.
Oh, nothing. Well, I'm glad we went through all that too, for no particular reason. What do you think, Doc? Can we save her?
No. You didn't bring it here to get it saved. That's not what we do here.
This is going to be interesting. I've never been a part of an attempt at welding cast iron before.
We may not be able to generate enough heat, but we'll try. It's big enough. That torch is big enough to get her heated up.
I can't wait for all the guys that have been welding pipelines for 200 years to come in the comments.
Certification and stuff. Well, let's do this side, see what it looks like.
It's more stuck together than it was before.
Well, it is, yeah. Well, it's terribly ugly. Real welders will probably laugh hysterically. There you go. It may or may not hold.
It's better than anything I could have done, not having a torch of my own. Question is now, where do we go drag around?
We did all that without the f***ing gas turned on.
Oh. That looks pretty good for no gas.
I thought it seemed a little crackly, and I thought, well, I just don't weld on a lot of cast, I guess.
I'm over here like, oh, this sounds better than when I weld. It's consistent and smooth the whole time.
Well, hit it with a hammer and see if it goes flying across the shop.
I guess so.
Let's let it rest. Let's have a beer about it.
We'll have a beer about it now. We should have had one beforehand. This is what happens when we rush.
Yep.
It is just like arc welding. It looks better. That's pretty
Hell
good.
yeah, all we need is a little aerosol paint. We like the aerosol paint around here.
Oh god, it's gonna have a handprint going around. Well, eat your heart out, professional welders, in the comments. We made that hold with no gas. I won't worry about that little piece.
Only thing holding that on was the paint. Every other side's rusty. I had a boat that way once. The only thing holding it together was the paint. Still fits. Ready? Oh, maybe I can't. You know, it's got a hydraulic thing.
Yeah, what are we doing? It also has
Rings
this.
are too small.
But that's all.
Good point.
Let me bring that quadrijet back to life.
Much better. What you say, a small block Chevy breathing through duals and blast packs is the most beautiful sound in the world.
Well, okay, we can make this go a little quicker.
I was gonna say, is there a lever? Can you just...
It's holding. Hey!
It works. Now we gotta go pull something.
Ooh, I can't help but agree.
Wow, power!
Oh, check it out. It's our first customer.
We're on our way to an emergency. We're gonna save some stranded motorists. It's gonna be wonderful.
Tom said he suspects our drive shaft vibration is a stuck U-joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you can't wiggle them, but then you tear them apart and go, whoa!
Yeah, it's fair. That's probably cost us another 10 horse.
Oh, yeah.
We can't afford that.
We got a parasitic drag. It's
Yeah,
not our friend.
Not this rocket ship we're in. I gotta slow it.
Speed up. It's vibrating worse now.
I don't know if they can see it, but everything's yeah.
Yeah, they can. Oh, that sounds good though.
All right, I'm a fan of the tow truck.
Yeah, I think they're a ball. That's why they call them wreckers. Because you can wreck shit.
All right, I think we have the perfect candidate. It's got stuck front brakes. There's a tree in the way.
We're gonna pull a Chevy with a Chevy.
Let's
Now we gotta learn.
get this going. There we go.
There, now we're official.
We're missing this piece, right?
Well, it's a big chain that goes, you hook it under the truck, you have the front bumper here, then you hook it on here, and And then I think we hooked the rest of it up there so it didn't flop around. And then you could raise it up, and the front bumper was pushing on the sling while you raised it.
I've got a
But
chain.
if we don't have those hooks, well, if you got any chain,
Oh, I've got a chain.
I think we pretty much need to be able to telescope these things out. It's getting there. There we go.
There's that one.
Yeah, and I think this one. Now,
How far are we gonna go?
not far, but well, they probably have a hole where they're supposed to snap back in on their own.
Does it feel like the 80s?
I feel like I am 80. It's a good thing we're not on the side of the road trying to rescue somebody right now.
I was just gonna say,
I don't think our tow truck company business would do very well.
Must be loud.
I can't move. Or they're fully extended. We'll find out.
Well, okay, well, what are we gonna do? Break something?
If we can weld without gas, we can break anything we
Right.
want.
Yeah, up, go forward. We aren't latched. Okay, stop right there. We can do it. I don't remember having to do it this way.
To the end.
40 years last time I did something like this.
Too big a chain.
Too big a chain.
Well, I don't see us outclassing Central Iowa Towing anytime soon.
No, they better look out. We're coming for them. Say goodbye to your beautiful front bumper. They call them wreckers because you wreck stuff.
good noises.
All right, is this thing even in neutral?
Let me check the other square body 4-speed. It is indeed.
Tire rolled off the rim.
We have an operable tow truck. Holy shit.
We're in business.
Oh yeah, open now. Don't call. We won't show up.
What do we call it? Slippery toe?
Tom's Toes.
Nobody wants to see my toes.
We have successfully towed a vehicle.
There you have it. I suppose at this point, this is just a work vehicle for you and I to
That's
use.
right. I can't wait to wreck stuff with the wrecker.
This sounds good. Give her another one.
Yeah! Sounds like a bomber.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tom and I are going to use this for stuff around my place and his place whenever the hell we need to do it. Like I said earlier, it's probably constantly going to need stuff fixed, and you'll probably see it used in a video now and then. Thank you guys very much for watching this. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and a comment below. Thank you to Tom for all of his help and that excellent arc welding with a MIG and that flux core wire we had.
That's right.
We'll see you guys right here next week for another episode. Peace.
They might want to watch us unhook this piece of junk yet.
I don't know if I got enough battery left.
Well, that looks about right, except for I still don't remember how we did all that crap.
Now, unfortunately, these are still just as seized as they were in the beginning.
We'll get those going next time.
Yeah, next time.
Tune in next time.